Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Why the music is so low? Why everything is so low? I don't know. We boosted a bit and see what happens. Okay, I think I'm ready. We can start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream of Plane Shift. Your preferred MMO, huh? So, I did some more reasoning on the layers, right? I don't know if I want to do it now, but definitely is a good discussion. But before doing that, I would like to do one thing that should be fairly simple, which is the ability to store the item scale in the database and reload it properly. At the moment, the scale is not saved, right? Because it's never been in the item table. And yes, you can resize anything at runtime, so you can scale an item, but you will stay scaled. Oh my god, the noise. There are some frogs in this area. So the scale is not saved. So if I take this item, for example, right, I go in GM edit, everything that you see in blue is actually not saved today. And it is a bit of an issue because maybe the scale is so important that we have to, right? We have to save it. So the question now is, where should we save it? How should we save it? When should we save it, right? All of that. Did I post? No, I didn't. I did. Wow, I'm posting stuff automatically without even thinking about it anymore. Okay, so we have a number of possibilities. Well, the easiest, and probably the one that at the end we will do, is inside item instances, right? So item instances is the table that is keeping all the items as instantiated into the game, right? So it's not the definition of the item, it's the actual item dropped into the world or sitting in the player inventory, right? So we can just have it as part of this. Another table that I was thinking, where do we have it? I think I didn't name it item, which is a pretty bad idea actually. I think I named it trap properties, yeah. I think I will probably have to rename this one, but so we have an additional table that is dedicated only to traps, right? And this is because certain objects can have traps, and so the traps table is already storing something like the trap script, right? And yeah, the blocking use, the strength, etc. So our additional, this is basically an additional table. It is storing this thing, right? This part. It's storing this part. Now, I think also the HP will be kind of relevant to store. I mean, we may decide, for example, for a building not to store the HP on the database continuously, right? But I think we would like to store the HP of an item also if the server restarts, because here the problem is the server restart, right? Our server is fairly stable, but at this point is still sometimes is still crashing, right? It's crashing rarely. I mean, I'm continuously fixing bugs, but at the same time, I'm always continuously adding new stuff, right? And when I add new stuff, the chances of the server crashing obviously increase quite a bit. So we need a way, you know, to keep the scale of the items stored in the database and keep the HP stored in the database in case the database goes down, right? And oh, this guy's going around. Where are you going, bro? Huh? Where are you going? Huh? Pretty cool to see people, to see monsters roaming around anyway. It's always nice. It makes the world feel more alive, right? And it's cool. So also one thing that we should analyze, I guess, is, I mean, are the columns of item instances. The problem of item instances is that it's a huge table, right? So here we have pretty much, you know, the whole set of items in the game. And at the moment, this table is big. So it's nearly, I think, 2 million objects, right? And whenever we do queries on it, right, it is heavy, right? It is heavy, and it will become more and more heavy in the future. So I don't know if one day we should split it somehow, right? Maybe having like the NPC items separate from the player items, or the ground items separate from the inventory items. I don't know. At the moment, everything is there. And my question would be, do we want to add yet another column, right, to this, which already has like 33 columns, right? So, and the other question is, are all these columns required, right? Or can we delete some of them or merge? For example, this location X, Y, and Z, right? Originally was 3 separate columns, but I mean, it is basically used. I mean, I think it's never used in a XYZ kind of fashion, right? So I think we only load it one time, and then when the item is moved, we store it another time, right? So I think it would be much easier to just have a string value, right, as a vector that is read as a vector and is yeah, right. But anyway, it's just an idea. All these fields at the beginning are absolutely required. This is all required. Item decay resistance is required. Item quality, crafted quality is required. Item stats ID standard is a very long name. I think we should remove the standard, but anyway. Item stats ID is basically pointing to the definition of this item. There is a minimum function that actually I added recently. There are the flags. Yeah, then there are these two, which are kind of, these three actually, which are kind of weird because they are used only, right, when the item is actually locked, which happens very, very rarely, right? So if we have like 2 million items, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 or 500 are locked, right? So So I think these three fields are a bit of a misuse, right? Hello, Hula. Good evening. Hi. I think these three fields are a bit misused. I think they should probably go into another table. And actually lock skill, right? Lock skill is completely useless because lock skill is always 22, which is the peak lock, right? So I don't know if we will envision in the future an item that can be unlocked differently, right? Well, in theory, one item could be broken, right? So it can be unlocked by strength or unlocked by, maybe if it's a puzzle, by intelligence. But I think this field of lock skill, it is actually a bit useless, if you ask me. Then we have openable locks, which are absolutely needed. Item name, which is used to rename the item. Creative description is the actual description. Creative definition is the one that contains like books, right? And then we have like this one, which is charges. Charges, actually, we never use this field, right? I think it's loaded in the database, but I think it's probably completely, I mean, I think it's never used, right? Let me see. Yeah, obviously in the load item is loaded, right? But, and then we have a set, right? We have a set and a get, I assume, but is this ever used? I don't think so. Then prefix, suffix, adjective. Ah, okay, script can use, actually is already here. Script can use. Ah, but it's different than script can toggle. Well, is it really different? Script can use. At the moment, it's never used. It may be assigned at runtime, so I have to be a bit careful on that. But basically, yeah, basically all the fields are used except for charges, right? I mean, we may use charges in the future now. So we don't have wands. We don't have wands with a specific number of charges, right? They can be reloaded, but in theory, you know, it makes a lot of sense, right? That an item has a number of charges. So I think I will keep charges, even if we don't really use it today. because this set charges is actually never called, right? Let me see, set charges, there is the item load still, huh? There is a copy item. Nice, stacking items with the same number of charges, okay. And it is probably the save. What is this? Edit save, yeah. Do we also have the charges here in the UI? Ah, yes, we do. Okay, so no, I think that the takeaway of this small analysis is that we need all the fields, right? We need all the fields. We cannot go without. Okay, so whatever we want to do, we need to add it at the end, right? Yep. Now, item stats is already containing, for example, max HP, right? Max charges. Okay, I think we're just gonna do it, guys. We're just gonna do it. So we are going to add, now I just have to understand what I want to add, right? So if I want to add the whole thing or so what do we want to add here? So for sure we want to add HP, right? And HP should be right? You will just call HP. So there is the current item HP, right? It's not the max because the max is in the definition, but it's the current item HP. And actually, if I remember right, I already modeled it so that the item has the current, right? Because we keep track of the current. Just don't remember in which field, but it's probably called like current HP or something like that. And also, I don't know if I put it in interactable actor. Sorry, in PS item actor, or if I put it somewhere else. Get HP, yeah, most likely is here. Item data, get current HP. No, it's inside item data. Okay, good call actually. Because it may exist also in your inventory, right? So you may pick up a tent which is damaged, right? And it should retain the HP, right? Okay. So this current HP is sitting on PS item. Okay, fantastic. So we already have all of that. We just have to save it, right? Yeah, we just have to save it to the database as needed. Now, I don't know if you're gonna save it is something we have to think about, right? So if you want to save the HP every time you do damage to the item, because that may become fairly intensive in terms of database, right? Or database load, or if you want to save it like every X amount of minutes. That would probably be the best idea. Now, in terms of value, do we need an integer? Do we need a full integer, or can we go for a small integer? Do we need millions of HP or not? Well, in theory, yes. No, let's make a normal HP, a normal integer, because I feel that we may need a, yeah. What is the difference between int and integer? No idea. Default value, I think default value we said that is 100, right? In theory, default value is the same as the one that we have in the item stats. It can be null or not. No, it cannot be null. And can only be positive, by the way. I don't know. Is there a unsigned int in... There is no unsigned. No. It's fine. We can leave it as integer. Then, so HP for sure, and scale for sure. Now, do we want to have a do we want to have the scale as a vector? I would say absolutely yes, right? So in reality, there is 3 values, but we can put it in a string. I think we can put it in a string, and that's easier. Can you vector from string or not? Can you init from string? Yes. The string is expected to contain x equal to, y equal to, z equal to. Oh my god, why? Would have been so much easier to have just the x, y, z, comma, comma, right? X, comma, z, y. I mean, why we need to have this extra shit? Anyway. So we will use this very, very, very rarely, right? So... In terms of updates, very rarely, but we may use it for every item, right? So yeah, I think we need 3 values. We need x, y, and z, because we may decide to scale slightly. You know, like I may want to scale a shelf and make it a bit larger. You know, even if it's not scaling the UV, but I can make it 1.5 just because I need it, or 1.2 in one direction, right? So that would be pretty good. Now we will have to understand what happens if the item already has a scale, right? Because certain items come from the 3D scale. There is a get 3D scale in Unreal, and maybe the item is already scaled. So if I change that and I don't multiply by the existing one, you know, I may mess up, right? So I will have to be sure that we are multiplying by the existing one, right? But yeah, there is an init from string, so I think we are good. So this thing will actually be a varchar, right? And now the question is how big. I don't know, if we go 20, I think would be more than enough, right? So, or well, I'm thinking 11, right? Like 3,3,3, right? three digits. So 9 digits plus 2 comma. But it may be 1.5 or maybe 100, but 100 I don't know. But yeah, let's go 20 so we have plenty of space, right? At the same time, this field will be multiplied by 2 millions, right? 2 million items that we have in the database. So so it's actually making a difference, right? If I make it like 2000, is making a big difference, right? I think it can be null in the sense that if it's null, we assume scale 1, right? And the default expression, I think should be 111, right? That's the default expression, I would say. Yeah. Okay. About I think these two fields are good. About the others, I don't know if I really want to put them now. But we definitely have a problem with the script on toggle, right? Because the script on toggle is used for the magic portal. So the magic portal, which by the way doesn't even have because this one is saved on the 3D model, on the PS item actor. I mean, on the physical object on the ground. I see. Yeah, it's not even here. Thing is inside. Yeah, is here. Sound on toggle, script can toggle, script on toggle. All these ones are on interactable actor, so in theory they are not saved. Well, I can copy it, right? So I can move it down. Because for the dungeons, right, for the dungeons, I need this. I need the script. You see that is empty when it's in my inventory. But if I drop it to the ground, yeah, you see, this thing becomes go to dungeon. And this is a problem, right? This is a problem. Because I cannot have... Nah, I think the script... I mean, I understand that the script can toggle makes sense only if it's an interactable, but you may have it in your inventory, right? And it's still an interactable anyway. So that is what is... what I don't fully agree. Anyway, these two, I think these two are good. I think these two we can do. 45. Look at how much time it takes just to modify, because he has to rebuild the whole table with 2 million items. Holy shit. It is extending the table now. Oh wow. Oh wow. taking a lot of time. You did it. Fantastic. We should do it. We should do the same in the dummy database because actually, right? Yeah, and here it did it like instantly because the database is so much smaller. So adding scale and adding HP and scale to item instances, right? We will have to execute this in production as well, but I don't want to do it yet because I will have to anyway update the code to read it, to use it, and whatever, right? So so fine, so now we have it, right? So it should not be that hard to change because actually it's not in too many places, right? So it's definitely on item instances, right? Which stands here, yes, which is anyway inside PS item. And is this current HP, right? So this set current HP should be present in the item load, right? Where that is the one that is called at server startup, right? So it should be here somewhere. A set current HP, there it is. It's actually at the bottom, right? Set base stats. Wait. Set base stats. Because here by default was setting, but the set base stats, where is it? Base stats are the same. There is the copy. Yeah, that's fine, I would say. And in the load, fine. I think we can do it here. I think we can do it here. So we already have a set current HP, right? We already have it. So the only thing that we have to do, we have to check if now when the item is created, I don't know if it will be automatically created with the default like when you spawn, right? When you spawn an item, well, I think we have to check this field. If this field is the problem is that if we give a default, right? We want to give a because I gave a default, right? But I don't know if a default is a great idea. Actually, you know what? The default is a very bad idea. I think we should have no default. I think we should have no default because And actually it could be null, right? Because I think is easier if we leave it null. It means that there are no modification compared to the base table, and we just read the base table, right? I think it's probably better. I think it's probably better. Oh shit! Another 2 million. Okay, anyway, while he's doing that, right? So I think yeah, we can just have it like this. And for the scale, do we want to do the same or? Probably yes. Yeah, I think so. I think that we need to use this field only for overrides, right? So they should not contain a value unless it's an override, which is also cleaner than to search it, because we can search all the items that actually have an override and we understand how many we have in the game, right? Instead of having a stupid 111 when it's really not needed. Yeah. I think that is much better. So actually yeah, the default, we will remove the default. We will remove the default. Or the default can be empty, right? But I think it's better if it can be null, because actually the HP, right, is different if it's 0 or if it's null. So I cannot give him a default value of 0, otherwise it looks like the item is completely destroyed. Yup. So I think that's good. So here basically what we will do, right? We will do well. First of all, we need to read this. So is the result row? I think this load is probably already. Like in repopulate. I think it will happen. Will happen for sure in repopulate items, right? For sure. So in spawn manager, right? Yeah, it's doing a select star, so we are good. We are selecting everything, so it's fine. Yeah, so we can use HP. And we can use scale. Now, the only problem of scale string is that So if he's not empty, what do we do? If he's not empty, I mean, if he's empty, we don't set it, right? Or if he's empty, we leave it. We leave the. We assume that is 1. Yeah, I would say if he's empty, we set it as 1, or. Also, do I need to use really another variable for scale? No, I don't, right? Because we just use the 3D scale. We just use if item actor. Now, but this is something we will have to change anyway. Thinking what is the best, another cheap viewers, okay. GG. Thinking. No, it's fine. It's fine. I think if he's empty, if he's empty, we don't modify the scale of the. Now, you know what is the problem? The problem again is that I can have it in my inventory, right? So if I have it in my inventory, it means that I cannot store the scale only on the actual 3D object. So I need, so actually, yeah, the answer is that yes, I need a scale, right? I need a scale here somewhere. There is no way. And I need a modify. I think we can call it. I think we can call it something like modify scale, right? Or current scale, something like that. Yeah. I think we can call it something like current scale, just to be sure that we don't confuse it with the official one, right? And then we need we need a getter and setter, right? For so I will call it get current scale, and this will return current scale, and then we will have a set current scale, right? Which will take a float in scale, and I think we cannot accept a negative scale, right? So if something is, well, can we? Well, no, yes, we can. We can accept a negative scale, now that I think about it. So yeah, can also be a negative scale, why not? So you mirror the object, right? That would be cool. So if you have to mirror an object, you can do it directly with the scale. Yeah. I mean, it will not work with everything, right? So like, for example, blueprints, I don't know exactly what will happen. Probably will not work. But yeah. I think we just do current scale equal to in scale, and then what we will do, we will, if the item actor is valid, right? If the item actor is valid, then we will read so we will have to do something set actor 3D scale, right? Which is his base scale multiplied by this one, right? Why I'm saying floating scale? It is a vector. No idea why I said float. No idea why I said float, really. So I think we will get the current scale and we will multiply it by our in scale, right? The problem if we do this, the problem if we do this, if we do it twice, right, we will multiply, we will continuously multiply it. That's not good. That's not good at all. But there are items that are already scaled, right? And okay, so this means that we will have to consider when we set the scale already the scale of the item. So if the item is scaled 100 times and I want to scale it, 2 times more, I will do 200, right? And not 2. Yeah, I think that's a decent compromise. I don't know if it will work well, but I think it's okay. In theory, we can do this only if this is different than 111. I mean the one vector, but I don't know. We can do it anyway. I think it will not be detrimental, right? Yeah. So basically here we set the scale only if the string is not empty, right? If it's empty, we don't touch the object. Right, so this would be set current scale. Now we have to remember that when we instantiate the item actor, so basically when we drop an item to the ground, we will have to set that scale, right? At the moment we are not. So how do we do it? I wanted to have the scale string in the form of 111, right? So can we tokenize it? I think so, right? No, it's in the string, right? Have to do it this way, right? So obviously if this fails, right, if this is not properly formatted, then I think we can just what? Because by default is putting it in an f string thingy. Okay, yeah, I understand. So it's not automatically converting it. Okay, fine. So here the problem is that if we don't have 3 elements, right, there is something not working, right? So if the scale vector num is different than 3, right? In this case, we have a critical error, right? So basically, this item doesn't load, right? So we can say malformed input or something, right? Item error, item blah 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 could not be loaded. The scale is improperly formatted, right? And we can also print out the this. Right? And we just returned false, right? So so if this does not happen, so we have exactly 3 items, right? Then at that point, I think we can parse from float, right? A to F. A to F of right? Yeah, this becomes a bit of a monster. Bit of a little monster, but it's okay. Because I don't want to parse it with x equal to, y equal to. I mean, I find it ugly. And so I would just parse it this way, right? So maybe this line is ugly, but I prefer it this way than not. Okay, so here basically we set the current scale, right? So and here we go into this function with a vector already, and then we said that we set the current scale. So this will leave in PS item also if the item is not on the ground. And then if there is an item actor, we are immediately changing the scale of the item as well, right? And then when we drop it, we will have to do something different, but yeah, we will have to set the scale as well, right? So, okay, so this is during load. Now, we are also setting the current HP, yep. Okay, so that should be already kind of fine. Yeah. So now when I drop the item, right? When I drop the item, and also when I edit that, now let's go first when I edit, gem edit item info, right? So scale. Do we have scale here? If item actor, else scale. Why scale is not? Ah, yes, it is 1. Okay, good. Get actor scale 3D. So at this point, do we want to do it that way? Yeah, we can do it that way actually. And if it's not, we read current scale. Oh shit! Scale is a float. No. Okay. So that will have to change, right, in the future. At the moment I cannot, because otherwise I break the compatibility between the client and the server. But actually, yeah, that scale needs to become a string, right? This needs to become a string. So at the moment, I think we will just take the X. But this needs to be changed, huh? You fix me, make it a string so we can send the wall vector. Yeah. So I will have to remember to do this when we break the compatibility with the client. So I will put it here and I will say no, please. I will say modify GM item scale to be a string, right? XYZ, because at the moment is only a float, so we will be able to scale only in one direction. I mean, uniformly between all directions. So, but it's okay. I mean, for now, I think we can survive, right? So we will also have to change this, by the way. Right, we also have to change this line, but it's okay. So this is actually when we do the GM edit. No, when we read the info, when we do the GM edit info. Now we have another function which is the GM edit save, I think, somewhere. The scale. Yeah, actually in the item commit, right, we will have to do the save of HP and scale. By the way, sorry, I forgot the HP, by the way. And now this is already working because it's getting the current HP. At the moment, this is the maximum HP or is the current HP? That is the current HP. The maximum is given by the underlying item stats. I think we will have to split this field into two, which is the current and the maximum. Yep, I think so. But I cannot do that change now. Otherwise we break the compatibility. So we will be able to change the current HP and the max HP. Well, the max HP. No, the max HP we cannot. I don't know. Let me put a question mark there. I have to think about it. Anyway, we cannot do it now. This part we cannot do it now because it's breaking the client compatibility. So for now, that field is the current HP. It's called max, but it's not correct. Anyway, it's the current HP. Is the current HP. So now, like you were saying, on the commit, right, which is here, existing item update. We call it scale, right? Yeah, HP and scale. From int, no, it is already a string, so this should be good. Doesn't require right. Gates current scale is a because fuck is a vector. Yeah, is a vector. So it's strange that I don't have a way to export a vector to compact string. To compact string, what it does? Maybe it does what I want, so which is just without the x, y, and z. It's doing the same shit. It's never doing it the way I want it to be done. Maybe I already have it in string utils or no? Maybe. Do I have something in string utils for vector? Yup, I do. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I was remembering that we had something, but I was not completely sure. Right. So this should do it. So this should save the HP and the scale to the database. And then I'm not completely sure of what it's doing here. If it's an insert, okay, it's doing all of this, blah, 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 blah. And then... Oh, it is the same. Okay, so in theory this should already work. Huh? This should already work. Huh? Uh-huh. Okay. So the save, I think the save is good. Save is good. Load should be good. Save should be good. And then we need the change, right? So when you do the GM edit and you actually switch the scale, you should change real time, right? And at the moment that I think is not happening. So that happens in here. Exactly. We were already exactly on the right spot, which is fantastic. Modify. It's an item on the ground, it's an item in the inventory. Yes, save, override the name, yep, all this. So okay. Scale, here it is. Exactly. So instead of doing this, now we do, instead of doing this, but before the save, before the save, yeah, we do set current HP, and we do that, right? Yeah, and for now, this also will have to be changed, unfortunately, but okay, it's fine. Right, so for now, we will have to do f vector of this, right? Which will basically flatten the scale to the same number for x, y, and z. But we will have to change it, right? We will have to change it as soon as we break the compatibility with the client. Yeah. Okay, so we did it in the load. We did it in the save. New item, existing item, and we did it on the fly as well, right? So basically a runtime. And I think that's it pretty much, right? I think that's it. So we should test it and see if it breaks or not. So let me recompile. We are still a bit limited, right, on the changes that we can do. Because I don't want to break the client compatibility and release a new client now, right? So because we released only 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we will have to do that. We took a note, so I will have this done for the next release, right? But at least now we should be able to set the HP, current HP, and the scale in all directions, being the same in all directions. Is building. Okay, succeeded. We can launch it in debug mode, I would say. Can we go, wait, maybe we can go with the dummy database, right? I don't think we need the wall. Let me just double check that I removed the default here, right? Yeah. We can go dummy database with nothing, basically. With no additional data. You are very silent today, guys, huh? Very, very silent. Okay. Should be running. Yeah, this was the performance test. This was the performance test we did the other day. I didn't yet optimize the database based on that tool, but I think it's great that we have it. So now I can really do some database analysis if I want. So that's very, very good. I'm still in the back, half sleep, half looking. So one eye is looking and another eye is sleeping. I see. Half looking, half sleeping. That's okay. Okay. So the idea is to test can be any item actually, right? So I can drop the longsword here and yeah, we don't need that debug, right? No, we don't need this debug. So I can drop this longsword here, right? And I can then go here and say gmedit, right? And gmedit now has HP 100 and scale 1, right? So if I do scale 2 and I save, it actually worked. Okay, that's very nice. Now I want to understand if that also went to the database properly, right? So because this is item 12697. So what we want to see, why it went in parentheses like this? Huh? Because the toString, fuck. The toString was including parentheses. No! Okay, well... yeah, this toString, right? Yeah, I was including parentheses. Fuck it. I cannot type. Okay. Okay. Now, where the hell was that?
Be assimilated.
You will be assimilated. Yeah, you are assimilated already because you are here. Yes, this becomes a compact string, but yes, but basically it worked, right? So this word is now 2 times bigger and is saved to the database, right? And if I do 2.3, you see, if I do 230, 220, holy shit. Why? No, because it was a breakpoint. What the, no, it crashed. Why? What happened? Failed to save item instance. Data too long for column scale. Oh fuck, the 20 is not enough. What do you mean? It's 230.00? Really? Ridiculous. $230.00. How many character is it? It's 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 plus 6 plus 6. So it's 18 with 2 commas. Fuck yeah, it's actually exceeding the 20. Fuck it. It's actually exceeding the 20. No. Okay. Let's make it 40. Fine. 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 Nah, it should not. It should never crash like that. But yeah, if you put a crazy value, right? If you maybe we can cap it just to avoid it. We mistype something, and that becomes an impossible value, right? Also, I think if he's lower, I mean, if he's below a certain value, like 0.00, like if he's zero, I mean, it should never be. It cannot be zero, right? Because if it's zero, it doesn't show up. I think the minimum should be 0.1 or even 0.5, but we can go with 0.1. But 0.1 will already be pretty much invisible, right? I think we can clamp it. We can clamp it to maximum what? Maximum 100 times. I mean, 100 times is already like insane, right? I mean, whatever it is, even if it's an apple and you say, oh, I want it 100 times, I mean, it's kind of insane, right? So, but anyway, we can clamp it to 100 times maximum. How do we do it? How do we clamp a vector? How do we clamp? How it is possible to clamp a vector? Get clamp to sides. Create a copy of this vector with its magnitude clamped between minimum and maximum. I know, but is it scaling it? Two sides with a 2D magnitude clamp between min and max. Z is unchanged. Min and max. I don't know exactly what it does, but I think it's probably going to. Anyway, we will clamp two sides, okay? We will clamp two sides. We will clamp two sides. What? 0.1 and 100 seems to be reasonable, huh? 0.1 and 100. Sorry. I was looking at it and saying, what? Yeah. Okay. This should be better. So let me see what he wrote in the... By the way, did we get the free game of the week or not? Let me see if we got the free game. These are all games I will never play probably, but still it's nice to get them. Still, it is nice. What free games we have? Oh wow, we have Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3 remastered. Unbelievable. What do you mean buy now? Ah, it's not. No, it's not free. Is discounted. Okay. Well, Steel is pretty good though. Steel is pretty good. Remastered, boys. Oh wow, this is nice. No, it's not free. The free for the week is what? This one I got it already. I got it already. I think it's a stupid game, but I got it already anyway. It's free until when? Until the 10th of October. Until today. So from tomorrow. From tomorrow is a new one. Okay. Now I forgot what I was saying. I was saying that yes, that we clamped it, okay, and then the other thing we need to do, we need to check what happened here, because probably, yeah, this is with, right, this is with the but now we need to load the item, so we also see if, so repopulate items through, so we see if that sword on the ground is getting a 2.3 scale, right, or not. And then we will check the HP, but pretty much it seems to be working. Okay, let's run it. Let's run it, boys. Didn't load up, or okay, it loaded up. Just took a bit. Okay, it did not work. It did not work. Why? Why the loading didn't work? It's saying scale 1. While in reality we have scale. Well, in reality, in the database we have scale 2.3, right? Unless I didn't commit. Fuck. So I didn't read this. Okay. Okay. We have to redo the test, unfortunately, because I didn't commit. Okay, let's load it again. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, should be up. Come on. Can you do it? Please, big sword. Fuck. Okay, it didn't load up. Why? Scale 1. No, it's the loading is failing. Weird. I mean, if I scale it now, it will work. Wait, by let's say like we saw before, right? Let me go 0.05. Shit. Yeah, which became 0.1, I guess, right? So if I open it again, it's not 0.058. Didn't we say that? Didn't we say that we clamped it, right? Between 0.1 and 100. Why this clamp didn't work? That's a bit weird, huh? Scaled. Yeah, this clamp doesn't work. I think clamp two sides is not clamping the single the single vectors, but is clamping the overall sides of the vector. I mean, the single axis is not clamping the axis, is clamping the overall sides of the vector. Which is not what I wanted, right? I wanted that if there is any value that is below 0.1 between x, y, and z is actually brought to 0.1, right? And if there is any value above 100, is brought to 100. So I guess we have to clamp it separately, unfortunately. So I think we have to do it manually. We have to do we have to clamp. It's a pity that there is no. Now seems there is no. So how do we clamp? Because obviously we are changing the direction of the vector, right? So that's why this is why Unreal Engine doesn't want to do it, right? So he wants to keep the same direction, reducing the sides, right? Which for us, yeah, which I think is a good idea. But still, I don't want to have invisible items. I don't want to have items just disappear because they are too small, right? So I'm even thinking to clamp maybe 0.2 and not 0.1. Yeah, so basically it has to be, unfortunately, something like this. Okay, so now we will do what I wanted to do. Now, why is not loading? Why is not loading? That's a bit weird, right? I think it cannot parse properly the string or something because it's not loading in the item load right here is not, it's not working. So let's try again, but this time we will debug it, but it's basically not reading this value. And let me change it to 0.2, which is the minimum that we decided, right? I understand why it's not reading this, but it's not. So this change is very important. Why it is very important? Because when a game master in game is creating a scene of whatever kind for an event, right? He may want to use certain items scaled, right? For example, I've seen already, certain, I don't know, a quarterstaff like use like a beam of a house or something, because just scaled up, right? Or things like that. So I think that the scale is relevant, and or maybe just to do I have some variations of houses, right? Or things like that. It may be useful, and so I think it should be a default. Now you could create two items, right, with different scale in the database, and then with two different models, but it's a bit of a waste, right? Because you will have to create two models just for that. I don't know what is my, I don't know what is my rider doing, right? It seems to be very, very slow. Maybe there is an Unreal Engine in the background running that is, well, I cannot check it now. Maybe there is an editor still running and it's messing up. There is one editor on the background, but this one I think is the one that we launched now. I have to do the same check, but with seems to be super slow. I don't know why. What is going on? Should I change my PC, boys, one day? Well, for sure we will change it. I just don't know when. Okay, let's see. Scale. No, let's put the breakpoint here. Otherwise, okay. Scale string is what? 111. Do we have a 111 in the database? I don't know. Uh-oh. All the items that got the default when I created it. No. I see. Okay. Yep. When I did the default 111, it got this default. Okay. No, we want to change it. We want to say update item instances, set scale equal to null everywhere. And I will do the same also here. There's a bunch of stuff that I was doing before. Okay. Now we need our item. What was our item? 12,7. 12,797. No, 12. Fuck. I don't remember. It's probably the last one anyway. But I don't know if I can catch the last one being 12,280. 12,079. It was a 79 or a 97, but anyway. GG. Fuck. Do you remember the number? You don't, huh? Anyway, it's a long sword, so I think we can say where I think we can catch it. I think we can find it. I think we can find it. I think we can find it easy. Longsword. Longsword is 510, right? So if we get item instances, $697. I think it was this one. 697. Yeah, in fact, it's on the ground. Okay, see, on this one we say 2.3, 2.3, 2.3, right? And we commit that. Right? I would like to understand why the hell this is not properly read, right? Okay. They're starting up. Okay, yeah, 2.3, 2.3, 2.3. So why this is not working? Let me see our array. Our array has 2.3, 2.3, 2.3. So it's correct. The number of parameters is 3. So we actually go and set the current scale, right? So it seems to be correct, actually. So the scale clamped is this crazy number 2.299999999. I don't know exactly why it couldn't keep it the same, but anyway, this is what it did. It's very annoying, but this is what it did. And then we put into the current scale, right, that value, yeah, which is actually correct. And then if the item actor is valid, which I don't know if it's still valid. It's not valid yet. Okay, I see. Yeah, because at this point the item actor is not set yet because we are just loading. I see. So we have to set. So this is kind of correct, but we need in the initial repopulate items, right? We basically have to do this again, right? Because repopulate items is done in two parts. So one is here and one is here in load word items. Now I'm thinking when we are loading then the items in the guilds, or we are loading them at runtime, we'll have to think about that. But basically here we are loading wait a second. Load word item. Okay, this is the loading. It's the first part, but it's not the part that we care because the spawning, yeah, exactly. The spawning is here, right? Create item. Create item. So create item. Create item. I hope the scale is replicated, but I assume so. So so obj is our spawn actor, right? And item instance is what? Is our PS item, no? No. Item instance is what? Item instance, yeah, is our PS item. Yeah. Is our PS item. So yeah. Okay, so now we should be set when we actually spawn it into the world, right? Which is nice. The only point is that if the current scale for whatever reason is not set, right? I mean, how do I know? How do I know that the current scale is actually set? Right? Doesn't like me. Yeah. I think with the default and with the fact that now we are using it when we spawn it, it should be good. It should be good. Okay, let's see if it's building. It's building, guys. I don't know. My PC today is a bit slow. I don't know exactly why. Actually, there is an update queued here, right? There is an update that I have to do. And maybe that is what is slowing it down. Sometimes Windows, when it has an update in the queue, it is actually not fully functional. Well, or anyway, is slowing down, or because it really looks like is. I feel it is lower. I feel it. We have 64 gigabyte of RAM, so we should not be capped, right, in any way. Okay, this one finished. Okay, so let me see now if we have the proper default and we are actually loading it when we create the item in the world, right? I think it should be good. I think now it should be good. So I think we still have a 2.3 value, right? Yep. So it's okay if it's not setting it immediately when it does the first set scale, because anyway it is reset when entity manager creates the item in the world, right? And at that point we have the scale set. So yeah, this one we already know that it will fail, but yeah, the first time it will be skipped, but the second, oh. Yeah, exactly. Why? Huh? Uh-oh. Is object handle null? What do you mean is object handle null? Huh? Did I do it on the wrong object or what? Yeah, probably there is an item that does not have obj set okay. Because I don't know exactly why, but it's possible that, let me see. Item instance, huh? This is probably an item that does not have a 3D model. For whatever reason, yep. And so is failing it's failing here, it's not returning anything, so object stays as null. Yeah, so this set scale should happen only if only if we have a 3D object in the world, right? Otherwise we cannot do it. And this should be like this, by the way. Yeah. Okay, good. We're making progress, right? So is takes a bit to get it right. There are different parts of the code that are affected by this. This is why it's taking a bit of time, but I think we're making good progress. Okay. So the use cases that we have to test are the loading a startup, the saving through the UI, the dropping of an item, well, the setting in my inventory, right? The setting on the ground and the dropping of an item from the inventory to the ground. And in theory, also the pickup. So these are all the cases that we have to test and ensure that in all those cases, it continues to function properly, right? And the scale is a bit tricky because obviously it's visible only when the item is on the ground, but is set also if the item is not on the ground. So there is a bit of the tricky part to test. Is anyone testing the bugs? I will close them if no one is testing them, but it's a bit of a pity because I would like you to actually test the bugs and tell me if they are really fixed, because usually the developer should never test his own stuff, right? Always someone else should test it. There are 30 plus, I think it was 34 the other day, 36, right, bugs fixed that are just waiting to be tested. They are ready to test in production. So okay, let's see. So the first run, we know that he will skip the item actor. Yep. But the second time, he will do it, right? But he's not going through this anymore because the scale is already set. Okay, fine. So we should see the sword, the sword 2.3 times bigger on the ground, in theory. Right? Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. So this is working. Now, if I pick it up and I drop it again, it should still keep the scale, right? Okay, it does. Very good. If I edit the scale and I put it to 1, so back to 1.5, let's say, it's a bit different than default. Yup, now this thing is acting. The character going crazy makes me so mad. Okay, so it's working fine. Now if I pick up this and I change the scale while it's in my inventory, it should still work, right? Exactly. So now if I drop it, it should be scale 3. Fantastic. Okay, I think it works. So we tested a drop. Well, one thing maybe that I would like to test is a completely new item, right? So if I remove this from the database, well, if I spawn an item, if I spawn a new thing, whatever, something with a, yeah, like this chest, right? And I spawn it in my inventory, and then I edit it and I make it 0.5. So it is a completely new item that doesn't exist in the database. Uh-oh. It actually disappeared. Why? That is not good. Ah, wait. It was in debug. Okay, here it is. So there is a chest that is actually 0.5 in sides, right? Okay, very good. Very good. I think it's done. Why he has to do this? Why he has to do this? Fuck it. Okay. Do we have to do any other test, guys, or are these all the tests we wanted to do? So we tested the load, we tested the drop, we tested the save. We tested a change in my inventory. We tested, well, what was something, okay, let's test the clamp, right? Let's test the clamp. The clamp, we said that if it's below 0.1, no, 0.2, it goes to 0.2, right? So if I do this, I can remove this breakpoint now. Right? It becomes super small. I mean, it's there. The longsword is there. It's barely visible, but it's there. The question is, how much is that? Fuck, why my character is continuously fucking up? I will change it. I will change it one day. Yeah, so it's scaled to 0.2, right? So if I do 0.25, okay. If I do 0.2, okay. Now I think it works fine. And the same if I do 100, right? We said that the maximum is 100. So if I type a random number like 3000 millions, it becomes super big, but it is like 100 times, right? So the sword is about 1 meter. So now it is 100 meters, right? Yep. I don't know if I can still click on it. Oh wow, there is the biggest selection. There is the biggest selection box that ever existed. Look at the selection box. Holy selection box. Okay, but yes, it works. Obviously, I can click it only from the ground, right? Because we are searching the distance between the object and you. So if an object is really too big, right? So you will probably not be able to select it properly, right? But it's fine. I mean, it's not the purpose, right? So I think it's fine. So okay, this kind of works, which is nice. Okay, this is back to now. What happens if I put it in my hand scaled? That's a very good question. So if I scale it 3 times, right? Then I pick it up and I put it in my hand. The scale is reset. Yeah. The scale is reset because it's actually set based on the scale of the socket. But if I drop it, it's big again. Yeah. This is because a keep, right? A keep is scaling the item based on the socket. It is to adapt it to the different races. So that's why it's doing what it's doing. But yeah, I think it's good. If I scale it while rotated, do you think it will be a problem? I don't think so. No, it's keeping the rotation. So yeah, I think everything works. Using a giant sword. No, it's actually rescaled automatically, so I think it's fine. So as soon as you don't equip it, right? I mean, it's the same with a helm, I guess, right? Come on. It's the same with an elm, right? So an elm, if it's on the ground and I scale it 3 times, right, becomes like this. But if I pick it up and I put it on my head, right, it's still scaled based on the socket of the head of the character. But if I drop it again, you know, so because he has a scale set on the item, which is actually saved on the database, right? So it's now permanent. I can stop the server and yeah, this could be a good test, right? Let's stop the server and restart it. So I have this small chest. The chest is 0.5. That is like 5 times, and it is 3 times, right? So now I stop the server and start it again. Right? And everything should work as expected. So actually the change is very simple. I can put it in production right now. I mean, not right now, but in the next days I can put it in production, because anyway it's not touching the client. So all of this is done server side. So we can have yeah, the only thing that we cannot do yet is to actually have a non-proportional scale, right? So if you want to scale it only in one direction, X, Y, or Z, only on one axis, but I cannot do it just because I cannot break the client compatibility, but we will have it, right? So that we can stretch an object slightly. Like if you have 3 barrels, right, and you want to have one barrel being slightly elongated and another one being slightly fatter, you know, in X and Y, but not in Z, you could do it, right? So non-uniform scale. So non-uniform scale will be supported at release, not now. Someone will make crazy looking stuff. Well, this is mainly done for GMs, right? Because the longsword. This is mainly done for GMs, because GMs are using sometimes items to decorate an event, right? So let's imagine that he wants to do a special event with 2 giant swords, you know, crossed, 2 giant cross swords, and right, that needs scale, and scale needs to be permanent, right? I mean, we can use it as a statue, right? So we could use it as a monument. So we can put a giant sword into the ground and just leave it there, right? Just as a monument or something, and give it a description. Yeah, but you see that it's actually working, so, which is very nice, right? So I don't know, you can create a portal, right? You can create a portal maybe with 2 swords, right? Maybe 5 is a bit too much, but one thing that is a bit annoying is that there is no easy way to reset the rotation. Maybe I should add it. That could be an yeah, that could be probably a good thing, right? To be able to reset the rotation of an item. But okay, so if you do like maybe 5 is too much. But if we do 3, right? Yeah. So if you want to create if you want to create a small portal, right, made of swords, now you can. Now the question is, should we allow players to should we allow players? Because in theory it could be nice, but in practice I think it's a bad idea. Right? So if you want to have like a decoration like this somewhere, I don't know. I mean, we can also set collision detection, right? So if we want, we could say, oh, this word now collides, right? So now I cannot, right? I don't know if I make both collide, probably I will not be able to go through, but you get the point, right? So there are a lot, yeah, exactly. I can probably go in only if I'm crouched, yeah. But you get the point, right? So this gives the possibility, I don't know, if the GM wants to do an obstacle race, right? An obstacle race with longswords, now he can, right? if you want to have a mini chest, right, now you can. If you want to decorate with a barrel, right, fuck. If you want to decorate, I don't know if we have a barrel. Don't know if we have a barrel in the dummy database. There is the dummy database, so there is no, we don't. We don't have. But anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, so I think it is working. Now, we didn't test the HP, but we can probably also test that tomorrow. Not now, I have to go, but not players may be in a large spell. A large spell could be nice. I mean, maybe it can be done, but within limits, right? So, like, imagine you have a shield, and again, you want to use the shield as a decoration, right? So, mainly now that we increased a bit, I hate the fact that my character is doing that. Mainly now that we increased a bit the quality of our textures, right? So the shield, maybe if you increase it before, it would look very, very bad. I mean, super bad. But now, I think it's acceptable. Maybe it's not fantastic, right? But the quality, I think, is reasonable, right? So that is a 1K texture instead of the old. Right, so you could, right? And now, Hula, if you want to make another, Twitch clip, I will do something only for you, okay? I will do something only for you. Look, I will do this. No, wait, I will do it this way. Maybe this way. I will do it this way. I know I have to make a collision. Collision. And now we have a spaceship. And now we have a spaceship. Look at this. I'm flying in my fantastic science fiction disc. You like that, huh? I can go as far as I want because my magic disc is coming from the future. It's coming from space. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we collided with the ground. Okay, guys, I think that's all. I think it's good. We have the ability now to have permanent scale, and I will check the permanent HP. I think for HP, we really need to modify the UI because we need current HP and max HP, right? And yeah. Okay, that's good. So I will see you tomorrow. I don't know exactly what I will do tomorrow, but I think I want to continue to improve the capabilities of our game so that we can make more stuff, right? Leveraging what we have. Because I think we have a lot, it's just that we are not using it enough. That's one of the issues. So with that, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow evening, 9:30 p.m. European time. If you want to click on follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube, they will be very, very appreciated. Also remember we have a Patreon site, which is patreon.com/planeshift, and you can become a Patreon. And remember that our game is actually available and you can download it for free for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Haha, look at that. See you boys next time. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.